All right, so to kind of establish where I'm coming from with this one, I played Persona 5 in, I believe, 2018. It was the first game I bought after buying a PS4 with my first check for the job I had at the time. I had already played through P3, Persona 3, on my PS2 the summer of the year before, so 2017. So it was my second experience. Um, so I played through Persona 5 fully at least three times. I know I did at least twice the original version, and I've completed Royal once. I'm pretty sure. I have attempted several other runs. I just never finished them of both versions of the game. I attempted merciless runs in when I was playing Royal, and yeah, no, I just kind of so yeah. Now I have a lot of experience with both versions of Persona 5, and a lot of vivid memories of my first playthrough of Persona 3. Now, I'm not here to talk about my experiences with the Persona series as a whole, but I will leave it at like 3 is the one that clicked for me, right? 3 is the one that properly got me into the series despite me playing it like a decade after it came out. Not 5. I had already experienced Persona 3 when I played Persona 5. Now, both of these games are games that got me hooked and got me fully like were fully satisfying experiences for me. So yeah, I'm here to talk about primarily about 5 today. Specifically, okay. Back then, I forget what year it came out, but I also did watch Persona 5 the animation. I did watch that to uh, I watched the original air. The what was it like 24 episodes? I watched all of those. Now I did not watch the OVAs at the time. I did not watch the like what was it Blu-ray release like episodes. So I did not technically finish it, but whatever. I watched those years later. One of those bonus episodes being the thing we're talking about today in question, right? So the thing we're talking about today being the Valentine special, being the a animation that has a first person camera and a silent protagonist approach, which oh man, they were really going for the manipulation tactics with this shit, man. And I'll get into Lord. Yeah, no, let me just lay out what the fuck this even is first. Okay. So yeah, starting with On, going through all the girls, you get a little skit from first person perspective. That seems to be meant to immerse you with each of the characters, right? Now, Persona 5 the animation was criticized for its animation. And honestly, here uh, is the say it's like it's better than the show, and it's certainly an interesting attempt at an idea. But I do have to like trying to do a first person perspective in animation. It's just too obvious how artificial it is. Like the movements aren't like realistic enough, and the fucking blinking effect that they're trying to do. It's like, it's no, I'm not a fan at all of how they chose to do this. I don't think it's not awful, but yeah, no, I am not sold. And so, to relate to how this relates to the game, so if you did not play the game, the Persona games from 3 onwards have light, and I mean light, dating sim elements where essentially, for many people, Persona 3, 4, and 5, one of those was the first game that they ever played that gave them the choice of an in game romantic partner. I am also included on that. I am one of those people where this was the first game where that was ever a thing for me that I played, at least to completion. In my initial Persona 3 playthrough, what's her name? The girl with the glasses. What's her name? I forgot. I forget. The girl with the glasses who's part of the student council, right? While going through the game, while going through the game, I kind of chose her and went through some of her scenes. I did not complete her social links at all, so I don't know fully how that goes, or like even what she's like as a character. And it's far enough back now that I can, like, that's a decade back now, so I don't remember. I don't remember, and I've not played through P3 since then. As far as Persona 5, since I did multiple playthroughs, even despite me doing multiple playthroughs, I made no attempt to switch it up with each playthrough of who I go with. I would most of the time go with Hifumi or On, and that's it. And that's it. I really did. I really did find On to be an extremely compelling character, especially early on in the story. And like, I found her side thing satisfying, especially considering I was curious about like Shiho and what would end up happening to her. So that little bit of the story was satisfying to me. Also, On was my most used party member, and like, I pretty much had her in the team 95% of the time. As for Hifumi is interesting to me. Like, she's probably my favorite character in the entire game, and that's saying a lot because I do really like the cast of most of the cast of Persona 5. With Hifumi, it's so in the game, her deal is she is a shogi player who basically is like, the church basically just allows her to like hang out and play there, that she frequents, and you can go to this church and encounter her. I forget how it's initially you learn about her. I think you learn about her from someone else, and then you go and talk to her. But yeah, with Hifumi, her like storyline is basically you go and play shogi with her at this church and slowly befriend her. Now, there's a bunch of reasons I found this like storyline interesting. One, she is a character who very obviously quickly starts to like you, like your character, and that is like, when you with her character is like, duh, like she is a dork, like like, she's very pretty, but she is a dork. And like, she's just like a girl who stays by herself and like, not quietly, like loudly. She's even kind of annoying, but she plays shogi by herself, and she's like to practice for like professional tournaments, right? And so her like you basically being the person that she can actually like play her favorite game with and share that experience is like no duh she would like develop feelings for that person, right? But it's just yeah, no, she's a dork. She's slightly annoying even, but she is not only very pretty, but like yeah, no, it's cute how she develops her develops her little crush as she like has this person to play a game with. Um, her design too, her like color scheme with the little red thing dangling off her hair and all that. Like she's a very good character design. So and never mind also and like yeah her story overall her little side story is kind of interesting and how I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it, but just yeah, no, her side story is kind of interesting because it kind of goes into her experience being a person who tries to play shogi professionally and is trying to develop the confidence to like essentially be a micro celebrity within that space, right? And like the stuff she gets deals with her mom and all that. Um, and essentially you being her person who she can talk to about the different like stressful elements of that. Like yeah, no, her story is very, very interesting. Gameplay wise, the character side stories also do give you gameplay benefits and Hifumi's also. I did that every run even if I didn't choose her because her like one of her final things that she gives you is literally the best upgrade in the game. So there's that too. Um, but yeah, no, Fumi is probably my favorite character from that game. So, as you can imagine, watching this special, that's the one I pay attention to much, and also that just, funnily enough, happens to be the skit about these that I like the most, with her like swimming and like all that jazz, right? Even the little like cringe ass kiss thing that they do with hers, it's very well animated. It's cringe as fuck, but like, but like that's what this is. That's what you. Oh, these manipulative motherfuckers. But yeah, no, yeah, no. Fumi's great, and luckily her short bit in this is also great. So that was very satisfying for me, right? Uh, One other thing that I do want to note. So the other character that I find interesting in this special is, damn, I didn't forgot how to say her name, but the police lady, uh, Sai, I forget how it's pronounced. I haven't played this game in a fucking while, um, or even heard the English voices like say the names in a while. But I'm gonna go with Say, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But in the game, even in Royal, she is not an option, right? And that has to do with like the story structure, the way she fits into the story structure. She's kind of a constantly present thing, so you can't really interact with her in the free time. You can only most of the interactions you can have gameplay wise with her are in the last like third of the game. And yeah, no, that's for story structure reasons. But in this, they decided to throw in a basically bonus uh, uh, skit with her after the credits. And yes, I will circle back to talk about what happens before the credits. um, but yeah, with say, I also do like that one. I do like that they really put some thought into that and like yeah, the idea of like she's like, yeah, let's go see what was it, an opera. Let's go see an opera. All right. I mean, give you this kind of experience which you'd probably never have, right? And her outfit and all that, like it's great. It's great, right? To where like otherwise before this, the most you would get for this kind of content from say is probably like fan art and shit. Hell, that's still pretty much the case. Um, But yeah, no, that's I like that they included that as a bonus. Um, I'm not gonna give much time to the concepts that of the controversy this game has had over the years, where despite your character being 16 years old, half of your romantic options are adult women, and it's essentially literally playing into like just different variations of like, we gotta have this secret relationship. Here's your secret relationship with the teacher. Here's your secret relationship with the doctor. I'm not like, again, that's part of, and I'm not like, I'm not the type of person who's mad at the video game for giving those kinds of options. In fact, I really don't even want to talk about that topic very much. Like, I guess if you want to talk about it in the comments and aren't going to say some stupid shit, sure. But I'm not going to give that much time. But just like, if you aren't very familiar with the game, I mean, I guess I assume you would have watched this. But yeah, no, half your romantic options are adult women. And like, they do. I like, if you just take it as a story, like, there's some interesting stuff there with those characters. But yeah, um, there's also the aspect of, if you are playing this game as an adult, which I did, is like, if you want to go for who you're personally attracted to, then they're being the adult characters, right? Rather than just being a bunch of teenagers. But since you are a teenager, you know what I mean. It's that's kind of a complicated topic, but it's like, dog, don't go be too hard on fucking video games for giving you a moral options of things to choices to make. Like, as long as it's nuanced about it, fucking man, I don't know. Speaking of immoral options, the Persona games are also known for, you can be a cheater. And in Persona 3, there was no consequence for it. There was just a funny scene where you, funny, but there was just a comedic scene where you essentially have a scare making you think you got caught. And that was it. No, but no actual consequence. In 4 and 5, they decided to have legitimate consequences. In 4, it is basically, you have to deal with all of the involved girls like expressing like ludicrous heartbreak, like they are cracking their voices, like in the voice booth. Like, meant to it is meant to make you feel bad like, as a person for making said choice. um Sad manipulative music and all, right? That was the approach P4 had. With P5, it was instead presenting what you see here, the scenario of, they found out and decided, we're gonna beat your ass, like, and basically decide to jump you, right? Which is funny to experience, to observe as a thing, but is obviously not something you would want to go through in real life. But yeah, no, that's, yeah, no, the games, along with having a very basic romance mechanic, also have a cheater, like, keep track if you're a cheater or not, right? And like, yeah, no, it's not hard to avoid. You can just stick to your one, but it does also put you in the situation where, if you go through everybody's stories, um, you have to actively reject them, and then also feel that like bit of like seeing them be sad about that. Um, it's not nothing. It's not nothing. It's not that there's no depth to it, but the kind of point I'm trying to get at is that, like I said, this was many people's first experience with in-game romantic options, right? And the thing is that most of us over here in the English speaking world until recent years, literally were not aware that there's an entire genre dedicated to that shit called dating sims, right? And that not only when I say that, it means it's like no full, in depth gameplay systems of you going through the entire course of trying to form a relationship, right? There are two videos that I can give you, both extremely long. One of them is literally 6 hours. It's the 6 hour review of Tokimeki Memorial by Tim Rogers at Action Button, right? Uh, Now it is broken up into sections, and he literally says you can skip the middle two parts. You could skip parts 3 and 4, and so you could cut it down. You can cut it down by like 2 hours if you really want to, or you could just watch one section at a time, and you'll watch like an hour or so of content at a time. Like you can just do that. It is, despite the whole thing being 6 hours, it is literally made in sections. You can just go through it that way, right? So there's that video, and then there's also a more recent video by Never Knows Best, which is his attempt at going through the history of like dating and romance's portrayal in video games, more or less as a whole, primarily focusing on dating sims, as in games that actively try to make gameplay challenge out of romantic ideas, right? Now, even just comparing these two videos, there are things. Okay, these are both like extremely long video essays by a white boy. Uh, Tim Rogers being a man in his 40s. I don't know the dude who runs Never Knows Best. I don't know his age or whatever. If I had to guess, he's in his late 20s, early 30s. Um, but I will say that one warning for these videos is that I do think you should watch both, because they both give you a great picture and understanding of the topic as a whole of romance and its like portrayals in video games. Gives you all the biggest, most important video games that ever existed in relation to those kinds of things. But Tim's approach for the 6 hour video, I personally like way more because it's way more vulnerable. It is very much made from the perspective of a person who will not make fun of you at all for. I mean, he does crack plenty of jokes, like in some way, but it's very much on the side of like. Yeah, no, he go throughout the video is very willing to be vulnerable and like honest with his talks about like his perspective on like he tells multiple stories about like his own real life romantic like experiences and relates those to like how that relates to him talking about the game, right? Where the other video, I do feel like there's some okay, I don't want to be too mean to the other video because it is a very good video, but it does feel like a video that when you compare the two, one is more obviously immature in places than the other, namely in the fact that the Never Knows Best video is like comparisons of PC98 art versus visual novel art that came from stuff by like Key, like I don't know if it's Canon or Canon or how you say it. Like I'm kind of getting slightly off topic here, but like it's the same idea of like people who look at some of the best information ever and are like, why are so many studios so lazy, or look at the best things ever, why things are lazy, and it's because that's fucking hard to do, right? Um, it's because fucking PC 98 art was like people who was companies trying to compete with each other who all had this dazzling, amazing art, where most visual novels were made by people who were just kind of trying to get their foot in the door, and like had amazing stories to tell, but maybe we're not the best at art. Like, this is a well-known, established thing. Is that like what they lack in like artistic impressiveness, they make up for in writing. But I'm basically addressing the video. I'm getting off topic at this point. The main point of like I want to get at with bringing up these videos is that Persona is the thing that established that interest in video games portrayal of in-game romantic choices. From there, getting a little older, maybe you learn about dating sims and you look at what are the most advanced portrayals of romantic ideas and interactivity. You watch those videos and you are given the best reason to watch those videos is that you are giving a bunch of great video games to play, right? That is probably the coolest thing you get out of those. Watching the Never Knows Best video is how I learned about Amagami, and that game is fucking fantastic. And the anime is even is actually unironically one of the best I've ever seen. But like, it's but like, yeah, no, check out those videos. If you've never played a Persona game, do that. Those games are freaking great. I'm sure I'll have a lot to say about this in future, but as for the topic, there is one other like point I want to make. And again, I'll have plenty to say about this. It is my opinion that it is perfectly fine to have an attachment to fictional characters. Not an obsession, but an attachment. I do think that like you having an attachment to fictional characters is useful in that it can tell you what you like in people. It can get you to notice traits or define for yourself the traits that you can go on and take into the real world and you know and use, right? Even it can even work in the kind of opposite way, to where like you can be super interested in fictional stories that center around romantic depiction of characters who you may never like romantically involve yourself with in real life, but you think exploring that with the detachment of like, this is not for me, this is to satisfy my curiosity, like that's fine too. Like again, you can have, like especially with video games, you can have plenty of reasons to play a video game. To go back to the thing with Persona, you could not give a shit about the character that you pick. You could just like I said, you could not give a shit about Hifumi. You could just like that she gives the best benefit in the game, so you go through her thing, and you're cool with that. Like maybe you don't hate her, but you think she's interesting. Maybe you don't share my like attachment to like what's the deal with her. But like, yeah, no. But yeah, no. Be it Persona or one of the games covered in those videos, one thing I want you to take away from this is to learn about and get interested in a new video game and to go play that and especially if you can tell before you even play it that it might be one of your favorite things ever, right? Great, a bunch of great video games exist in the world, right? All right. Hope you got something out of this. Y'all have a good one.